Alright, on this video we're going to go from a polar coordinate to an XY coordinate. So we'll go from polar to rectangular coordinates or XY coordinates. Alright, so let's look at some examples. Our first example, if you have let's say the radius is 1 and given 7 pi over 4. This is straight off the unit circle. So if you have one straight off the unit circle where the radius is 1, just look at the coordinate at 7 pi over 4, and that's in the fourth quadrant, and that's positive root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. That's your answer. Okay. Or if you have a negative 1 and 5 pi over 6. Okay. If we were graphing that, we would start on the left side at negative 1, and we're going on the positive 5 pi over 6. That would be here. Well, the coordinate right there is positive root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Okay. Now let's look at one where you're given a decimal for the radian. So if you have, well, let's look at if the radius is not 1, but you end up with a radian that's on the unit circle. Okay, so if the radius is 1, the coordinate for 1, 3 pi over 4, would be negative root 2 over 2, positive root 2 over 2. But if the radius is 3, we're just going to multiply this x and y by 3. So if the radius is 3, multiply those coordinates by 3. So negative 3 root 2 over 2, 3 root 2 over 2. All right. If you're given a radius of, we'll say 4, and let's say we're given 170 degrees. Okay. So if I was to graph that, that's not on the unit circle, so let's graph it. So we'll start on the right side, and we'll go in the positive direction. 170 degrees would be over here. Okay, with a radius of 4. And what we've got to do, we've got to figure out, if I made a right triangle out of it, we've got to figure out the x and the y. I know, since it's in the second quadrant, it's going to be a negative x and a positive y. And so what we've got to do is figure out, I'll just draw this right triangle where you can see it a little better. Alright, so we have enough information to figure out this degree right here. If I can figure out that degree, then I can do SOHCAHTOA to figure out my x and my y. Remember, we went around 170 degrees. Well, over here is 180. So here is 10. 10 degrees. All right, so now let's do SOHCAHTOA. Let's find y first. To find y, we'll do sine, because it's opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 10 equals my y over 4. Multiply both sides by 4. We get 4 times sine 10 equals my y. So y equals 4 times sine 10, 0.69. Remember, it's positive. And then to find my x, we'll do cosine. So cosine 10 equals x over 4, adjacent over hypotenuse. So 4 times cosine 10 equals my x. And remember, your x is negative here because we're in the second quadrant. So do 4 times cosine 10. So my x is negative 3.94. And so my xy coordinate is negative 3.94, 0.69. Okay, let's do one more. Let's see, that was number 4. One more. Let's do number 5. Okay, let's say my radius is negative 2 and positive 4.14. Okay, so 4.14 is a radian. It's in a decimal form. If you want to figure out what the exact degree is, we'll just say 4.14 times 180 over 3.14. Do that in a calculator. 0.14 times divided by 3.14. That's 237.3 degrees. All right, so let's graph this. We're starting on the left side. We're going in the positive direction, 237 degrees. So we'll go 90, 180, and we're going 57 more. So about right there. Alright, so now let's figure out my y, my x, my radius we know is 2. Alright, so, and this is, my answer is going to be a positive something. Alright, so what we've got to figure out is this. Well, how far did we go? Once we got to 180, how far did we go to here? In the degree, we went 57.3. So, change that. 57.3. All right, let's do sine equals y over 2. 2 times sine 57.3 equals 2 times sine 57.3. I get 1.68 for y. All right, let's do cosine for x. Cosine 57.3 equals x over 2. 2 times cosine 57.3 equals x. 2 times cosine 57.3. I get my x is 1.08. So my coordinate, my x is 1.08. My y is 1.68. Okay, I want you to I want you to take the polar coordinates on 7 through 10 to rectangular coordinates, xy coordinates. So 7 through 10, change these to xy coordinates.